I'm coming through, so we are going live, I think.
Like right now?
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
It's Sunday, and
Welcome to Sunday, fun day.
I hope it's fun. I got my beer
Yeah,
out
I think
today
so.
because it's Sunday sesh.
Oh, I got no beer.
Sunday sessions.
Alcohol-free zone over here.
Doesn't sound like a Sunday fun day.
Nah, it's a Sunday, sad day.
Sunday sad day. Welcome everybody to a special episode. To apologize for missing Friday, which is entirely my fault. Can't blame Casper in this.
Wow.
No, but I had prior engagements. Unfortunately, came out last minute. But we have today the day to make up for it, and we've got some really cool news for everyone. Some tech news, some non-tech news, maybe some coin discussions. You know how last
Yeah, I
week,
think so, right?
you know how last week we just talked about Tesla
Yeah,
a lot
heaps.
for
Lots
like
of
nearly
Tesla
two
talk.
hours.
Pretty much.
We might end up doing that today, depending how we go. You never know.
Exactly. You never know.
So we've got what do we got actually, Casper? What do we got for our news today?
Some things that I brought up. So, the PlayStation Play at home, them giving out free games to PS4 and PS5 owners, which is nice. It's all part of the whole like being stuck at home initiative done by Sony,
Yeah,
which is
right.
lovely. We have I guess, some news about the new iPhone 13. Uh, there's previews of what it's going to look like.
Mm.
We have NVIDIA RTX 3070 Ti might come in both an 8 gigabyte and a 16 gigabyte variant. Ooh.
And maybe some thoughts about Schneider's cut of that new.
Oh yeah, the Justice League. I haven't watched that. Have you?
No, I have better things to do than watch the movie for 4 hours. Like 4 hours. 4 hours and 12 minutes, something, 20 minutes, something stupid.
4 hours. You know what? Some people are like, wow, 4 hours is not enough. They absolutely love it.
Really, for that movie, 4 hours is not enough. I
Yeah.
thought 2 hours was enough. Like, I fell asleep, honestly. I went to the cinemas and I was sitting there and my wife got
Wow.
really upset at me. She, like, kicked me with her
She was
hand.
like, wake up, Patrick.
Yeah, she's like, wake up, what are you doing? You're being a dick. I'm like, this is so boring.
Oh, wow, really? I didn't think it was boring. I thought it was a little bit rushed, actually, because some scenes were like too fast. They're like, oh, conclusion, we need to go there. And they have a massive fight. And it's like, whoa, what happened? Like, how did all of this happen?
So now they can
Just
drag it out for 4 hours and
absolutely.
not really get anywhere. You still get the same outcome. That's what shits me.
It had some cool aspects though. Like the Batman nightmare that he had. I thought that was really cool. And then the Batman fight in the warehouse.
Oh yeah, and
Um,
meaning Joker in there.
oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. And supposedly, because initially when the movie released, Jared
Mm.
Leto was extremely upset because something like an hour of his work was cut out of the movie. He had like a really big role to play in that movie,
And
supposedly.
guess what? They didn't put it back in.
Didn't they?
No.
Oh, maybe that would be like the super extreme cut, like 6 hour version.
Zack Snyder's second cut. Well, if you want to know
Second
about
cut.
the second cut, I have a sample for you right now. I'm going to play Zack Snyder's Justice League Go Around 2. I think Zack Snyder has really gone above and beyond in this version. As you can see, it's about two young men creating a podcast.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's the very grounded superhero edition.
So let's start with the first topic. Can you walk me through this and I'll share our screen? The PlayStation
Oh yeah.
Play at home. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
the Play at Home initiative. So that's something that was announced on the PlayStation blog a little bit while back. So they did this before as well. They did it last year with the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection and Journey. So that was given out to everybody for free who had access to essentially to the internet and to the PlayStation Store. And they did that as part of the fact that a lot of people were getting locked in at home
Yeah.
because of the pandemic. Now this time around, they're doing it as well. So they've given away so far Ratchet and Clank, and they've shown us a little list of free games that they're going to give out throughout March and April. Horizon Zero Dawn, Res Infinite, Abzu, The Witness, Enter the Gungeon, Subnautica, Moss, Astrobot, Paper Beast, and Thumper. So as you can see, 90% of these games, they're little indie games. So it's nothing huge, nothing that's going to break the bank. These games each cost anywhere between like $5 to $10 on the PlayStation Store. So it's just to give something to the people, which I think is nice. It's kind of nice when a company does that.
Well, I guess my problem with this is you don't actually get to keep, you don't get these games.
Oh no, these are free. Like you keep them forever. So they're not a part of the PlayStation Plus. They're separate to that.
Wait, so you telling me that right now, if I bought a PlayStation 4 or a 5 and I don't have I was going to say Xbox Pass, but PlayStation Plus, I get these
Yep.
games.
Correct. Yeah, you get these games for free, which is it's a bit more than what the PS Plus does because that needs a membership, whereas for this you don't need a membership.
Wow. That's actually mind blowing because first of all, Horizon Zero Dawn is a massive game, right? That's
Yeah.
actually like
Yeah.
huge, and a lot of these other ones, yeah, they're not as big, but they're still fun to
Yeah.
play. So literally, if I mean, Christmas is not around the corner, but person's birthday, like your kid's birthday, you can buy a device like that and get those games for free with that device. You literally
Yeah.
don't have to buy them new games for at least 6 months. That's great. I love that.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. And the reason, they're giving away like Horizon and Ratchet and Journey and Uncharted is because these games have already made a substantial income for them. And the sales are extremely low. So they figure, oh, it's not like we're losing anything. So that's why they give these particular games out because they've had their time in the limelight, I guess.
They've made their
So
investment back from it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They've made their money on them and they're like, well, we might as well do it. Give out the games that are just not being bought. So that's what they did.
Good evening, Time to Fly and Pog. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone
Hey
else.
guys.
It is Sunday. We didn't mess up the days. We didn't
Oh
think
yeah,
it's
it's the
Friday
beginning
today.
of the weekend, Pog says. Yeah.
Yeah, Easter's around the corner, so that's next week. We might not be able to do a stream then, unless we also do something like this, like an odd day.
Yeah.
Maybe like I wouldn't say late night because, it's hard for at the moment with the time zones. Man, can you
Yeah, for
can you
sure.
believe we live in a country where there's like time zones?
I know, right? We're in the same continent, on the same country. I suppose the country is so huge.
Yeah.
It's massive.
I was also going to say when back in New Zealand, right, we had one time zone really, because it was the
Yeah,
island was vertical.
that's right. It's just like a slither of land cut up in two pieces, really.
Yeah. So there's no point having separate time zones.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I guess back to PlayStation here. I really look.
Yeah.
I really appreciate when a company does these sort of things. Like I think it's a really cool like gesture. I'm
Yeah.
still the reason I asked before about does this mean I still have to pay $10, $15 a month for PlayStation Plus is because my thought
Yeah.
was that why do I, if I'm getting free games, I'm not really getting free games, right? Because I'm still paying that subscription. So this to me is actually
Yeah.
the most quintessential free thing you can get. There's nothing more freer than this, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Absolutely right. You get the games, you keep them forever, you make sure you download them in that time frame, and they're yours to keep. So, unfortunately, the PS Plus, you build a library as you go, but now there's like I guess a small library that you get as soon as you get a PS Plus subscription. You get like something like 25 games
Yeah, right.
that you have access to. Obviously, it is no match to the Game Pass, but they're trying.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Oh, look, have we talked about PlayStation VR 2 in the past?
No, we haven't. I think that was announced a little while back. Just the fact that Jim Ryan was talking about the concept and said, "Hey, yep, we're working on it. This is it." Uh, but no,
Would you get a VR headset for your PlayStation 5?
no,
You're
no, I
not a
don't think
VR
I
gamer?
will. I'm not a VR gamer. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful that it's out there and it has its, it has its elements that nothing else has, like that level of immersion. But it's no, I like to sit back. I like to know my surroundings, and yeah, it's too immersive for me.
Do you think that Sony isn't quite sure about who they're making this for? Would you say that a lot of the PlayStation players are like that? Like maybe somebody in chat can also add to this, but do you reckon it's something along the lines of, well, why are we building this if most PlayStation players want to sit back and enjoy it like that?
I think because they have faith that it could be a growing market, and it's another way for them to stand out against other console creators, so
Right.
such as Microsoft, because Microsoft doesn't have one. So they figure, oh, how else can we differentiate ourselves? And the stats are, I think, 5% of PlayStation users actually have one.
Wow.
So it's not big, but it's something, and they're hoping to grow that into 10 to 20% eventually. So, but
That's
they got to
really
have the games to back it up.
that's really light. That's
Yeah, it's really small, right?
yeah.
Hmm. Um, and it's surprising that, oh, why are they going ahead and creating another iteration even though they had such a small market size? Well, I think that's the faith is, oh, we want to grow this, we want to make this an additional revenue of some sort.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, right. I guess I think there is going to be a much larger I guess group of people to buy this as things happen. So like as
Yeah.
things get better, I think there'll be more. I just think there'll be more. So maybe they're just starting off early and they're probably not putting in a lot of money. They're probably like just generally slowly playing towards having this as almost like testing to seeing if this is actually a thing. Because, the PC side, we've got, Oculus, we've got Vive, and those are thriving. Like there's huge communities around it, but you can do a lot more. You can do a lot more custom things. There's a lot more games, there's a lot more development done for it. So I think maybe once a lot of stuff is there, then maybe I don't know, maybe they'll get more money at more than 5%. But 5%, how many players is there on the PlayStation Network? Like,
So there was about 120 million consoles that was sold for PlayStation 4. So I guess that could give us a rough estimate.
so let me
That's how
just
many owners of the PlayStation.
so
Hmm.
there's 6 million people who would have bought this then. 5%.
It was something like 5 to 6 million people eventually owned one.
Dude,
Still,
that's great. That's fantastic.
you
Uh,
think it's great?
yeah,
Like,
I think so.
yeah, maybe it's not. Maybe, yeah, I guess when you think of percentage, you don't think much, but when you see that it's like millions of users, then okay, maybe there's something there, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to do a poll here, like a straw poll, to see if we can get some votes going. I got this thing installed the other day called
Yeah.
Nightbot, that you can actually chat. Oh, use a bot to do all these like things, but I can't get it to work. I thought I had it all set up. So
Oh.
anyway, let us know in the comments, guys, if you have a PlayStation VR.
Yeah, and if you would be willing to get the PSVR 2, because if the problem with the current PSVR is that it has way too many cables, it's way too complicated, way too many plugins. It's just a absolute mess, right?
Yeah.
So I think the huge upgrade with this one is going to be to minimize the cables as much as possible. And I think that's going to perhaps get more people on the bandwagon. And
Do
I
you?
was just thinking,
Mm,
sorry, just in relation to your poll thing that you mentioned, I just thought that could also be a great idea to maybe help the public with a little thing that we want to do when Diablo 2 releases,
Oh,
because we want to do
yes.
like a 24-hour stream essentially, and maybe we could get the public to help us to figure out what cause to donate to.
Yeah, because we wanted to do it for some sort of reason, but obviously not just to do it. I suppose it would be just fun just to do it. We'll probably end up doing just
Yep.
to do it anyway. So it's not going to change
Yep.
anything. But if there's a charity, you guys, that you'd want us to donate to, I was thinking something along the lines of, maybe like an Australian fire thing or flood
Yeah.
relief would probably be a good one to do right now. And
Absolutely. Yeah. Something that's relevant to Australia now.
yeah,
Or yeah. Yeah.
so I'm going to put in a link to a flood relief that I found the other day. It's via Services Australia. I think it was via them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disaster Assist, I think it's called. Yeah, Disaster
Okay.
Assist. I think they have a way to donate. Anyway, I'll find it. I'll put a link in there, and then maybe we'll do a vote on another stream, because I think when we'd have to do it on like a Friday, right? Like start Friday day or
Yeah,
Friday
in the
night.
morning. Maybe like Friday morning and
Yeah,
then
and then
finish
finish.
Saturday morning.
No, that's only 12 hours.
No, no, so we like 24 hours. So if we start like 6 a.m. Friday and then finish 6 a.m. Saturday.
Oh, hang on. Is that 24 hours? Man, my math is
Yes.
bad. Okay.
Yes, 24
Okay.
hours.
All right, cool. So it's
Yeah.
not just 12. Oh, yeah, because 12 hours would be
Would be
6
in the
p.m.
evening.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, 6
gotcha.
p.m. Yeah, yeah.
Man, that would be crazy. Okay, so we would do it Friday morning
Yeah.
till the next morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, I don't know. Vote yes. I don't know. I can't get it to work. Poll, vote
That's cool.
yes. I will just type that in. There you go. Vote poll yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our next topic.
Cool. Which is
Nvidia, my friend.
Nvidia.
Now,
Oh, Nvidia.
Nvidia RTX 3070 Ti might come in both 8 gigabytes and 16 gigabyte variations, and that is horrible. Terrible idea.
Why?
I don't know. I just think it's terrible.
Oh, yeah, I'm kind of bummed because I already have a 3070 and now they're thinking of having a 3070 with more gigabytes. I'm like, oh well. But it's probably another piece of tech that you won't be able to buy anyway.
So there's 6800 XT launched or 6700 XT launched, and for some
Yeah,
reason it works fine. Like, sorry, it's sold. Again, it's sold out again, and
yeah.
I don't think you can find it any stock right now. I think we looked at it last time, and I don't think anything has changed. So if I go 6700, or was it
Yeah,
68?
a mate of mine actually went to pre-order as well, not pre-order, but went to buy a 6800 XT, and he's obviously in the queue with everybody else. So people are waiting.
Yeah, so as you can see, nothing is available at all still. It's still completely sold out. And that's not
Yeah.
and you could say it was a paper launch, but I think the demand is so high that these companies just they don't know how to react, right? I just think they're beyond. They don't know what to do. They can't. It's not like they're super well. Like they're not making bank. They're not, because they're not selling enough, right? It's not like they have
Yeah.
a digital asset that can be copied multiple times. They have physical things they need to deliver. If they can't deliver, they can't make their money. I don't think they're actually making bank on these.
Well, that's right. And the fact that the the giant ship stuck in the Suez Canal hasn't moved yet, that's probably causing a bit of a blockage.
Can
If
you believe that?
I know, it's just, can you imagine being the driver of that ship? To be like, oh, bro, sorry guys, like there's all these ships behind him.
So
He's
okay, so
stuck.
because we're speaking about this, I know it's not tech, but I think it's pretty.
Yeah,
I mean, this is really interesting stuff. So there's,
yeah.
I think, 20,000 containers on this little barge. It's not a barge, but you know what I'm getting at. There's
Yeah,
20,000
yeah,
of
yeah.
them. This is
This
a
dinghy.
this is a recently new design of a ship in regards to its size,
Oh,
but the ship itself is still using old technology, like old turbines and diesels and stuff. And in
ah, yes,
fact,
the boomer tech.
Yeah, Boomertech. And in fact, they actually are now using a really crappy fuel that was forced by the Maritime UN, so they don't pollute the seas as much, right?
Yeah.
But this has caused problems with the engines. The engines are not actually performing very well. Now, what's happened here, I don't even know how I know this, by the way. What's happened here is the ship was going 13 knots to try and beat the wind. So when you have so first of all, because there's so much, it's bigger, it's taller, and there's so much more of these containers, there's 20,000, and a standard one would have like 10 to 12,000 containers. It's basically a big metal wall. And what was happening, there was wind coming from the left as you go upstream, right? So going north. And the captain did the right thing. He sped up to 13 knots, and the standard speed for the Suez Canal, actually this bit right here, this is it's not even the thinnest point either. This is just a single laned Suez Canal. Because I don't know if I did so much research about this. Nobody was going to ask me about this, so I'm sharing. I'm going to wreck your guys' evening by sharing this with you, because nobody else cares.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Let me open up the map. So, where is it? There it is. Okay, is this going to... Oh, this is a shitty example. Wow. Okay, I'm going to have to go... Sorry, DuckDuckGo, but Google Maps is so much better at this.
Can't believe that $10 billion worth of goods daily are being are essentially being missed out on.
There's $8 billion of stuff on there, isn't there? Yeah, how much did you say, sorry?
$10 billion of goods.
Yeah. So you can see here that when... so if we just sort of back up a bit... So anything coming from China, right, goes via ship, goes through here. Oh, you can't really see my mouse, but let me just here. Goes through from China, around here, and through here into Europe, into basically anywhere in Europe, right? And the Suez Canal is just here. There it is. So they come through here, and the ships go into this port. And at this stage, it's quite a wide area, right?
Yeah.
All good, all good. And when they get to here, this is where it goes into 2 lanes. So you can have 2 sets of ships going across at the same time. And then it goes back to 1. The problem, I don't know if this is a problem, but one of the interesting things is they actually don't, it's actually, it takes 28 days, I think. No, sorry, 28 ships can go through at once per week in one direction. So it's not omnidirectional. And I think it happened here somewhere. I think it's stuck here or over there. I can't remember. But it happened at one of these single lanes that got stuck. So anyway, the ship is really big. It's full of metal and it's really tall. The wind was blowing from one side. The captain's like, I need to speed up because otherwise I'm going to get blown, of course. Because when you're getting blown from one side... Yeah, I didn't rephrase that very well. When the wind blows from one side, you better go forward faster to try and beat the difference, right? So he did that. He got to 13 knots. Average speed of 8 is supposed to be in the Suez Canal. And what happened? The wind just blew harder and then blew him straight into a bank. Now, what's happened is that those ships are like, they're in almost 3 to 4 pieces depending on the size, and they sort of bend through the water, right? They're movable. Okay. They're supposed to be quite flexible. But because it hit one side and then the other side locked, it's actually forcing the ship to like cave in on itself. And the longer they leave it there, the more likely it will be that it actually snaps in half because of the weight. So so now you've got the next problem you have is it's wedged in the ground. It's pushed itself 15 meters into the sand. Now to dig out sand is like you have to, you know how you dig sand out? It just starts falling again. So you have to dig out like 3 times as much to actually get that one bit that you would have dug out before.
Yeah.
Because it's, it doesn't keep together, it doesn't stay stationary. So it's 15 meters of digging, which is going to take a couple of weeks, apparently. But every time they leave it longer, the more the water goes down and up and things sink more. And right now, somebody said, probably somebody's dad's like, why don't they just take a couple of ropes and pull it from the other side? Because as you can see in this picture, right, they could just connect something here and pull it that way, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently it takes with the amount of stuff that's on there and the way it's lodged itself into the sand, you need to have 33,000 tons of pulling power.
Wow.
Now, there is a boat that can pull. It's the most powerful boat. How many tons do you think this boat? There's only one exists in the world. There's only one boat that can pull. How many tons do you think that'll pull?
How many tons do I think it'll pull?
Mhm.
Oh man.
The most powerful boat in the world.
Uh, 50 tons? Is it way more?
No, it's a little bit more. I thought you were gonna say like 1,000 tons or like 10,000 tons.
No, I try to be like as realistic as I possibly can. But
That's pretty.
am I a lot off?
Look, you're not bad. 430.
Oh my God, I was way off. That's like 9 times 400 tons. Jesus.
So this boat requires 33,000. The biggest, most
Okay.
powerful boat in the world can pull 430.
Oh God.
So yeah, so they're screwed. That is just I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen.
So the other problem is that because it's forcing the other boats to take a longer route, which is costing a lot of money every single day, right?
It costs an extra week, I think. Or yeah, a week on the
Yeah,
journey.
which is costing billions of dollars, I'm guessing, because they're creating the delays.
It's the delays that are costing, not actually the trip. Because the people
Yeah,
who are losing
the
the money
delays.
is the delivery company.
Yeah. So if that's the case, why don't I just like throw a giant bomb on this thing and just sink it or just disintegrate it? We're losing billions. We need ships to go past here.
They
Just
can't
destroy this
even
thing.
they can't even take it off to make it lighter because there's not enough barges in the world for 20,000
Yeah.
like of those
And
things.
and the problem is like you can't probably either sink it, right? Because the water there is not deep enough to sink the ship.
Correct.
So, so what the hell are you left with? You need like a laser cannon to turn it into dust, essentially.
Essentially, but I mean, one thing you could do is just get everybody to just go the other way around. Like delay in time compared to how much time it's going to take to do this
Yeah.
they,
Essentially, business is gonna get more expensive from now on. This boat will stay here forever. Sorry.
the thing they're actually worried about, this is hilarious, is pirates. You've got $10 billion worth of stuff just sitting
Yeah.
there. Pirates
Well,
are going
you
to be
kind
like,
of
they're just going to chase it. They're just going to
you
run
kind of
in.
want them to come, be like, bruh, can you help us out? Can you just unload the boat for us?
We'll pay you in the goods you unload, right?
Yeah. Whatever you take is yours. Just help us move the boat. Yeah.
There's this scene from do you remember Lord of War?
Yes, great movie with Nicolas Cage and Jared Leto.
Yeah. Do you remember when he has that plane full of weapons and he lands
Yes.
it in the middle of a Saharan like highway, but it's not really a highway, it's just a desert road where people just walk
Yeah.
back and forth. And there's this video where it watches him, he's just sitting there on a box, and then the plane gets completely like taken apart by people.
Yes, they take
That
apart their entire plane.
that's what needs to happen right here.
I think so. We need those people. It's like,
Absolutely.
can you take the boat apart, please?
Anyway, so yes, so this is causing what were we talking about? This is causing delays in getting stuff to
Yeah.
Europe, but it's also causing delays for the rest of the world too. Um,
Yeah.
so one of the things that it's obviously going to be causing is probably getting the right GPUs to the right people. But I kind of feel like that might be done by air freight, but I don't know. I don't know if they would put like 1,000 GPUs in there and ship it off.
Wow.
Do you think it
I'm
goes by
curious what's
boat?
on there. Yeah, I think there's definitely stock that goes by boat, most likely. Um,
What's it called again? It's
wow.
called the Evergreen. So let's ask
Yeah, the
what's
Evergreen.
on the Evergreen
I'm
boat.
curious, right? Like, what if there's like Ferraris and Porsche cars and all those kinds of things?
What's in the Evergreen freight containers? Here we go. And it's just like potatoes. And then Ireland's like,
Potatoes.
no.
No, not potatoes.
Here we go. Oh, it's Ever Given, not Evergreen. Oh, wait, what? Oh, the boat is called Ever Given or Evergreen? I don't get it.
I thought it's Evergreen Marine Corporation.
Ah, that's probably what it is. But I think it's Ever Given as the boat.
Ah,
Um, wait, what? What? Okay, I'm not reading this.
Why? What's on there?
This is, oh my God, this is a conspiracy theory post.
Oh, regarding why the boat is stuck.
Yes. It says that there's heaps of kids being trafficked on it. That's why it stopped. And there's something to do with
What?
Trump.
Oh, of course it is. Yes. No, that
Listen to
yeah,
this.
that makes
This
perfect
exposes the
sense.
largest child trafficking operation in the world, run by CIA, Mossad, Epstein, Obama, Clinton, and Big Pharma. Save our children. This is,
But you know what? I would be concerned though if there are people on that boat. Like if they're locked in one of the containers, like smuggling of some sort. Like that's always a possibility. Like maybe people are actually trying to uh maybe they've paid to be moved, or maybe they have been captured to be moved, or you never know with these things. And my concern is that they would just starve to death in those containers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to this. At 7:40 a.m. on March 23rd, at KM 159, after the vessel suffered a blackout, hello, Mervin's white hats in full control. 7 plus 4, 11. March equals 3. 3 plus 2 plus 3 equals 8. Double 18. R equals JFK Jr.
Oh, that's a
Oh!
quick math.
And then
Yeah.
double 17Q. What? What is this? This is for real?
I think this is like a slow descent into a person's madness. The the writings of a madman.
This is not real.
I think just some people are insane. Uh, and Pog said, "What if there's Teslas on the boat? Oh, that would suck as well."
If there's Tesla on a boat, I'm getting on a plane.
Yeah, I know,
I'm gonna
right?
drive. I'm gonna drive him home.
They're like liquid gold on wheels, those things.
Yeah, but I have to just add to this that the reason I ended up on this stupid site with like with all that conspiracy crap is because I'm using DuckDuckGo. Now here's the thing, right? I think one of the
Yeah,
topics we're going to talk about is the Brave browser, which I'm using right now here.
yeah.
Um, DuckDuckGo is problematic. You end up on sites that are not particularly scientifically realistic. And I don't just mean like
Oh no.
meditation type of stuff where it's spiritual. No, no. It's like 8 plus 4 equals JFK, like that sort of crap. And this is not the first time it happened. I ended up on a site going, what is this? I knew what I was looking for, but I ended
Yeah.
up there and it was like this spam stuff. And I was like, what is this? This makes no sense. And I realized, whoops, because I was using DuckDuckGo. Oh, God damn it. So, yeah.
Oh
But
man. Okay.
let's talk about the Brave browser.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah. Tell
no.
me all about it. What are some of the benefits?
Where is it? There we go. Okay, so it's built on Chromium, right? So it's got all the Chrome extensions, which is great. So you can have your ad blocker, but it's actually got an ad blocker built in. It also has a built-in Tor browser. So you know what Tor? Do you remember the Tor network?
Yeah. What
Yeah.
you talking about? Like torrents?
No, Tor. Tor. It's like
What's that?
it's based
What's
on
Tor
the
network?
Onion network protocol. So
You're
uh,
speaking gibberish to me right now. You're sounding like a conspiracist.
you have to
Onion
believe,
network?
man. You have to believe. It's real. It's scientifically proven.
Yeah,
Um,
my internet is run by onions. What?
So, the Tor network is onion based. It's it's not really like a VPN. I don't know why people say it's like a VPN, but
What?
it's
Why is it called onion based? Is it because it has many layers?
correct. Well done.
Oh, gold
So
star.
so a long time ago, the Tor network used to be a way to get onto the darknet. You would install the Tor client. You'd then be able to navigate through the weird and wonderful. Well, I don't know if it's weird and wonderful. It's strange and very dangerous dark web, right? So things like
Yeah.
Silk Road, a lot of very bad things out there. So you had the ability to go using that. So Tor was the only way to get there. So now over time, Tor had to pivot to be a different technology, and obviously VPNs and anonymity online came into play. And one of the things that you get with a Tor-enabled browser, because it's not the only one that can do it, but there are other extensions to get it working, is you get a built-in VPN browsing without having to buy a VPN or pay for a VPN. It's sort of built in. It's part of part of the fun, right? Part of the Brave
Whoa, that's
network.
awesome.
So you could open a, see how it's, I don't know if you can see, you can't see the button, but at the top it says open in Tor. So it's
Yeah.
like completely anonymous. Your RSP can't see you, and anyone else looking won't be able to see what you're looking at. It's like, it's actually anonymous browsing without the hassle of a VPN.
Whoa. So can you then access Netflix US and watch it there?
That's actually a good question. I don't think so because I don't think you can set like the location it's going to show you as.
Oh, okay.
I think it just randomly chooses whatever's available. So it's not for that. It's more like, um, let's say I want to, I don't know, browse articles that are relating to health, maybe,
Yeah.
and I don't want Google to start picking up ads and giving me, adverts for, I don't know, hell, like, I don't know, pills for like, I don't know, whatever, vitamins, whatever it might be, right? So just protecting your privacy from whatever it might be. Now, obviously, people would use it to like, I don't know, go and look at trying to buy things cheap overseas. One of the ways to look at to
Okay.
use this is buying tickets or flight tickets, right? Because one of the things that things like Ghost that Scanner Place or the other ones do is they actually check what you've searched for, and the next time you search for it, they put the prices up periodically. But if you open the same link
Right.
in like a browser that is not that hasn't been used yet, you'll actually get a cheaper price.
Oh, okay.
So if you use something like a Tor browser, you actually always get a different, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Cool
yeah.
bananas.
And as Pog just says, which is a really good point, thanks, mate, is Tor is not good for streaming or watching videos, right? It's really slow. It's for browsing, it's for finding out details and not
Oh.
being affected by some algorithms that might put the price up on a product.
Right. So if you want to be FBI, Tora's the way to go.
So anyway, back to
Okay.
Brave. Back to Brave. So Brave
Yeah,
itself
back to
has
Brave.
that embedded into the system, so you can use Tor completely in your browser. It's built on Chromium. It says here it uses 35% less battery on mobile. I haven't tested this, but it is faster than Chrome. I can vouch for
Yep.
that. I don't know if it's faster than Firefox. I don't think they're saying that, but Chrome is really heavy on resources. This is really light. I switched to it last week.
Huh.
Fantastic. I actually used to use it a long time ago when the first time I heard about BAT. So this is also connected to a crypto coin.
Okay.
So you've got a browser. It's really fast. It's based on,
Yep.
on Chrome. It's got a lot of privacy features. It has a lot of great aspects to its speed, reliability. It's only crashed for me twice, actually more than Google Chrome, so it's not reliable. But anyways,
Oh.
but it's really fast. Everything works really well. So then it has this thing called BAT, so Basic Attention Token, and I opened it up just before here. So BAT itself is a crypto. Now instead of mining that cryptocurrency, the way you
Yeah.
get it is by browsing the web using Brave. And each Brave device,
What?
like your mobile or your computer, has the Brave wallet. It's an individual wallet. It's digital,
Yep.
but it's specific to the device. So your mobile wallet is not connected to your computer wallet. That's actually like if your computer dies, you lose what's in that wallet. But every
What?
month,
Really?
but every month it would transfer to your chosen cryptocurrency wallet, right? From each of these devices, and you could have up to 5 devices. So when you,
Can it be transferred to like CoinSpot?
yes, that's
Or
that's
is
right,
that
that's right, that's what I'm saying. So every month you can set
Oh,
it
it
to,
can.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Cool,
So
cool.
you're using your Chrome browser, your Brave browser. You're constantly using it throughout the day, browsing things. And what it has an ads network that if you view an ad from the Brave network, you get some BAT tokens.
Even an ad on YouTube?
Yes, even an ad on YouTube. It just has to be on the network,
You
right?
get paid for watching ads on YouTube?
Yeah, that's right. So you tend to not want to use ad blocker, right? Because you get BAT for it.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that BAT is obviously worth something. Like right now, it's $1.48 Australian dollars. Now, you can do two things.
Okay.
You can take that BAT and you can just sell it back for dollars and have a coin, or you can
Yep.
hodl the coin and so on.
Yeah.
And you can tip people. So if I go to
Whoa.
Techman Pat's YouTube, I don't know this guy, never heard of him, but it sounds really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, sounds like a douchebag.
A bag of dicks. You can see here, he's actually, I might have to share a little bit higher of the screen. So let me just do this. I was actually thinking of doing a video about this browser a little while
You
back.
should. I'm interested. I'm very interested to hear.
So can you see on top of the screen there? There is a button now. It's got a little thing that says, oh, actually, I don't think I have to, I can't be in private. Maybe I can't be in private.
Okay.
But anyway, every time you go on somebody's YouTube and they're connected to the Brave Bat network, and they're
Yeah.
using Brave, you can actually tip them. And if you watch their video, they can actually get a bit of the bat you've collected as a way to support them. And you can automate
Oh,
it.
I
You can
love
say,
this. This
yeah,
is great.
and you can actually say, hey, let's give him, 2 bat per month or something like that. And the thing
Yeah.
is, that creator is going to get the full amount, not like on YouTube where it takes like, I think they take like 60% or 40% or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
it's a substantial difference. So anyway, I think I remember I signed up to this 3 years ago, right?
Yep.
3 years ago, and I left it running. And I've collected, I think, 130 bat. I never touched it. It's just sitting there under my account. And I've come back to it and go, oh yeah, I got 130 bat. That's great. It's like $130 or something.
Cool.
But that's over 4 years now, I think. So, yeah, the more people use it, right? So I think it's pretty cool. Pog says, I used Brave until they got caught out redirecting to their CoinSpot affiliate link. They have learnt the error of their ways, but are giving them a bit more time to evolve. So I want to talk about this. And then one negative thing I found with this is
Okay.
there's a bit of ads for crypto inside Brave. And by ads, I mean pop-ups. So
Oh,
they notify you to say, hey, crypto.com is having a 50% sale or something like that. You can obviously turn those off, but they're on by default. So you can just go turn off notifications. Fine, done. But by default, they're on. And I think Pog is actually is probably talking about a more significant issue with an affiliate link. This is just now ads. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
from what I remember, they have changed their ways. Now they're doing just ads, paid ads rather than affiliate links. It's a little bit different, like wanting you to click on an ad and then, yeah. Anyway,
wow.
so thoughts, feelings, questions?
I'm very fascinated. I think it makes me want to use something like that. The fact that there is a reward for browsing, because I use the internet so frequently, probably each day after work, I may browse it, I'll watch some YouTube videos, I'll do some like online shopping, that kind of stuff.
Mm,
And if it means that I get a tiny little reward for my time, like, if I get like a 50 cents for that day of using the internet, I'm like, cool, man. That accumulates over a lifetime. Like you said, $200 over 3 years. And if, over 10 years, I get like a few $1,000s for just browsing the net.
yeah.
Sure.
And
Why not?
this is what I was talking about in regards to crypto. Like it's enabling this kind of not wealth transfer, but I think it'll transform the internet because the internet started as free, right? And then adverts
Yeah.
were the only way to fund the internet. Like the adverts pay for internet. Now
Yeah.
we're going to a point where the advertising business has gotten so big that you are now the product and no longer a consumer of the advert. You're the product being sold back to the advertiser to then advertise. I think this
Yeah.
puts another spin on it. I think this separates it into something a bit better where it goes, hey, you're no longer the product. We're paying for your attention. You get a small cut of it. They get a chance to sell you something. It's actually a fairer trade. You're no
Yeah, yeah.
longer the pure product. You're actually going, hey, advertise to me. I know I get a little bit back. You get my attention. I'm selling you my attention. I am willing to sell you my attention.
This is what I love. It's like the first time I'm getting paid for my time. You have my time, my attention. Like my attention is worth something, right?
Correct.
Like, how cool would it be if everybody in chat right now was getting paid for their attention as we're a community, as we're discussing things? They're giving us their attention. We're giving them some sort of
Bat
monetary,
token.
yeah, bat token, yeah. That
If
would
you're
be awesome.
watching this stream right now on YouTube in your Brave browser, you should actually be getting BAT because I'm on the BAT network.
You'll be getting money.
You'll be getting
This is
free BAT.
awesome.
I'm not saying go sign up.
Yeah.
I have no affiliation with Brave. I
Yeah.
have no affiliation with BAT tokens.
Yeah.
So not
It
connected.
gets no recommendations, but hey, this is what the concept is, right?
Yeah, this is not financial advice.
Yeah, not financial advice.
No, but
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I mean, many years ago when it first started, I saw it and I was like, yeah, but the product wasn't quite there. Like the
Yeah.
Brave browser wasn't quite competing with Chrome, but now it is, and now I think
You're
a lot more
right.
people will get on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like if it can compete with Chrome and then if it can give that added incentive, then the question is why use Chrome, right? Unless Chrome is the safer of the two in some way, shape, or form.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it is.
Hmm.
I don't think Chrome is safe anymore. It's certainly a lot safer on browsers like this, where they actually take your privacy a little bit seriously. Um, and they block trackers, they block a whole bunch of other stuff just within the browser. Um, yeah.
Right. And speaking of the topic of crypto stuff,
Yes.
do you wanna have a chat about crypto?
Let's do it. Let's talk crypto.
Okay. So I just want to talk about something that was that came out recently by a
Mm,
guy called he has a YouTube channel called Meet Kevin. And he made a video, a hypothetical about how the complete collapse of cryptocurrency would happen, right? So if it did happen, how would it happen? And he goes on to, he seems to be a bit of a finance expert, the guy himself.
mm, mm.
So he provides, I guess he provides a lot of great financial knowledge to the community, and he really put his research and his thoughts, and then he just, conveyed it to the world. And essentially, so the concept of the world as we know right now, of the countries and of the banks, is it goes something like this, right? You get money, you put it in a bank.
Yeah.
You put it in a bank because of safety. If you don't have the money that's put away somewhere safely, you've got essentially chaos, right? You have the potential of just your neighbors stealing from you, robbing you. Basically, that would be the world that we would live in, right?
Sure.
People would just rob from one another. Like, why make any money? I'll just wait for my neighbor to go to work and I'll just take all his money. The other thing is
And people
that
don't
the
do that right
banks,
now, do they?
sorry,
People don't do that right now.
I mean, people steal. So I guess people steal assets, right? They'll come into your house, they'll steal assets because more or less, well, some people do, but most people don't actually hold a lot of cash on site or under their mattress, or they don't hold like, gold, things like that, right?
Yeah.
Most people hold things that tend to depreciate in value, such as technology in their house. Yeah, as an example. So this is, yeah. So the other thing is a key role that banks play is in investing, right?
Right.
So they use your money, they invest it in various things, they allow the capital to grow, then they use that capital to lend it out to other people to then create businesses, create opportunities, which create jobs, yada, yada, yada. Essentially, that you have a thriving economy, right? So where crypto would eventually go would be in a similar fashion that you would hold your money somewhere, such like an Apple Wallet, right? And what would Apple do with your money? It would do the same thing that a bank does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem with that is that that's a corporation. So that corporation is not essentially regulated by the government, and the government is incentivized to use the fiat money because it goes around in a loop. Basically, you tax the fiat money back into the government, so there is faith that that's how it's going to operate and it's going to prevent a collapse, right? But if you have a corporation and things go south, and if you can't get your money back, which is very possible, they have done that in the past, they've stopped basically from people to get their money back, there is no protection for you as an owner of crypto, right? You've invested your money. You were hoping to get 5 or 10% gains per annum. There was a collapse. Everybody's lost their money.
Right.
The banks can't do anything about it. The government can't do anything about it. The corporation shuts shop, right?
Right.
So this is the big fear. This is the big fear of how a collapse would happen. Obviously, we don't want it to get to that point. We want there to be some form of regulation. So essentially, if the government can in some way, shape, or form work with crypto, right? Then we do have prosperity.
So, just I suppose, let's untangle this a little bit. So, from the
Yeah.
first moment you started referring to the fact that crypto will crash potentially, and there's no protections against a crypto crash. And if you start using that as your daily dollar payment, whatever it might be, and you lose it all, there's no protection from the bank or the government because it's not being held centrally. Is that what you're saying?
It's so essentially because crypto is not really backed by anything, right? So Bitcoin has no value, but it's not backed by anything physical.
Right.
Um, so it's not like a precious metal, but it may have supply and it is rare and all of that, but it's not essentially backed by anything. Whereas in contrast, like commodity-based money, like gold coins or paper bills or whatever, fiat money is backed entirely by the full faith and trust in a government that issues it. And one reason that has merit is because governments demand that you pay taxes in the fiat money it issues.
Sure.
So essentially, if we could have crypto being paid in tax, we'd have some form of insurance.
So let me ask you this though. What about, like, there's some countries that had very terrible governments, and
Yes.
that country's money decided to just go belly up, and they started printing more than it's worth, and
Yes,
blah blah
yeah.
blah. So obviously, a crypto crash, if that's possible, so is a country's crash. And yes, it would be more difficult for somebody like the United States or Australia or New Zealand to crash, but it's still possible. I suppose, this is not obviously going to protect against that crash. Now, looking at Bitcoin, and obviously Bitcoin is the most popular, its volatility over the scale of 10 years is not volatility. Its volatility in a scale of a week is insane compared to any
Oh
other
my
stock.
God, yes.
Right?
Yeah, well said.
So over the course of 10 years, it's just been going up and up. And I suppose from my point of view, it's kind of like gold because of the amount of people involved in it, rather than a physical. So it's the people that make it worthwhile, not the actual physical aspect of it. So gold obviously has a physical existence. It also has a physical use, just like silver and copper and whatnot. That's why we used, silver, copper back, in the days, little coins, whatever it might be, the value of it. But Bitcoin's value is dependent on its people. So if everybody stops using Bitcoin and stops using all the other coins, then it's inherently going to crash. But from my view, as long as somebody is always using some sort of coin or a payment system that is different than fiat money, and the other person is willing to exchange, that will exist. So you can have the volatility of it going up. But if you take a step back and look at the volatility of every country over the course of the last 200 years, 99% of them are going the same way as crypto, just up. You zoom in and you see the volatility, the wars, the ups and downs, the crashes, we've got recessions, we've got complete, the Great Depression. We've got stuff that happens to economies all the time. I just don't see that crypto is not going to be any different in that respect. It's going to have its crashes, it's going to have its depressions, but because the market is the whole wide world, and it's not divided into individual countries, the more people use it, the more stable it gets. Because if you look at it, like take the ASX for example, right? You've got,
Yep.
let's say there's 1,000 companies listed on the ASX. Those 1,000 companies combined technically create the ASX and the value of the Australian market, right?
Mm.
I mean, that's probably very much like a simplification, right? But the combination of all that. So think of all these individual countries creating their own. Obviously, well, they all have their own ASX, and then if you take all the ASX and you make a value of the world, then you have one central value of the world. In crypto's world, there is no divide between countries per se. It's the coins. The coins themselves are those individual ASX things, and they can individually go up and down, fall apart, but they're all going in a similar direction of being used for some sort of reason. So what I was saying before we had the stream, I was saying, well, every coin has an action. So that BAT coin that we talked about with Brave, its use case is just for browsing. You generate its value from people browsing. If people aren't browsing, the value doesn't exist. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is probably, in my view, is like the gold where you hodl and you just hold and you put your money in. And the slowness of its transaction is actually its benefit. It means that when somebody puts a lot of money into it, they can't just rip it out really quickly. The liquidity isn't there. And that means that the value stays longer because it's a lot harder to remove the value of it. Just like if you go to a bank, they're actually limited to, like that video said, 1/10 of the deposits made or whatever the value they have in cash.
Yeah, fractional reserve banking. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, I guess my view is that because it's the whole world and individuals, it's a lot harder to break apart individuals than it is to break apart 52 countries or however many. I don't even know. How many countries are there in the world?
A lot.
100 and I'm gonna ask the question.
I can't tell you right now. But the thing is, what he was getting at is how essentially how value works, how money works, right? Because you're going to have to you're pretty much going to have to it's decentralized money that you're eventually going to have to centralize anyway. Because if you don't, it's going to it's not going to have any benefits, right? The way money works is you have to invest it somewhere. You need to invest it so there is growth, so your country prospers, so your country gets ahead of the other countries, right? If everyone just held their own money, you would have no advancement of anything,
See,
right?
I think that's actually the first mistake of comparing it to classical currency, the fiat currency. I think the way that exists is reinvestment, rebuilding, and stuff. But if
Yeah.
you look at cryptocurrency, it's a better exchange than fiat money, in my opinion. But it's also better than it's almost like bartering. Because you remember bartering, you go and you go, hey, I'm giving you 2 sacks of potatoes if you give me 2 sacks of carrots. And that guy's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm Irish, I'll take the potatoes, thanks.
Yeah.
So in saying that, you've got crypto that's specific to an activity, and its value consists of that activity. And you might have like Nano, which is really quick on transferring money to each other. And what about every single coin has a different action. So when we're moving into this crypto world, we're no longer looking for an investment because we already have investing with fiat money. We already do that. That's already ticked. What we don't have is a quick transfer of value from each other based on a specific activity that is seamless, decentralized. So there's no single point of failure or control. So there's nobody, like the hedge funds can't short the stock. You can't do that with crypto. So the idea is that you're moving the power away from a centralized version of it to a decentralized, giving power to the people to be able to transfer value amongst each other. None of those people are going to be doing any investing in it apart from buying the coin and holding. That's the value they get from early on, right? So if you bought Bitcoin a long time
Yeah,
ago,
because right now it's a speculative stock per se, right? So
right?
that's why it's getting so much growth. But when you have absorbed all of the coin and everyone is holding coin, you got to do something with that coin. Because if everybody just holds it, you're it's over. Like you're stagnate, right? So that the next point of evolution of any currency is investing, which is what's going to happen with coins. And you're not going to hold it locally. Like you're not going to you don't want to essentially hold it on a hard drive or anywhere in your household or at home, right? Because you're just going to get robbed.
Yeah, but in banks, right? And this is probably a good segue to this, because when you give your bank money and they invest it, how much percent do you get by holding 100K in a savings account? 1%? 1.5?
Oh, look, yeah, you get nothing, right? You get
So
nothing.
so
Mm.
you can do better things with your money than put it in a bank. That's obviously if you can go into the stock market, but people don't have
Absolutely.
the expertise or the knowledge or the time to do that. And
Yeah.
the investing scene is actually skewed towards people with more money. Like you can't get started, and only recently has apps with zero, fees for buying stock allowed people to do so. But nonetheless, a bank, when they take that $100,000 from you, they make shitloads of money with that.
Of course. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's no doubt about that.
So how are you getting a fair price or fair value from your investment of 100K with the bank? Yes, it's backed. Yes, it's insured in some way, shape, or form.
That's the key word you said, insured, right? And this is the
But
problem.
is it insured?
If
Like, can
corp
you explain to me how it would be insured?
Well, it's insured by the government. Like the government needs to ensure, like in the sense that they can't allow a crash because you're going to have economic instability and you don't want to turn into Africa, essentially, right? Preventative measures. But if you leave this up to the corporations' hands, they have no responsibility in ensuring your money, which is where crypto is heading. Crypto is being held by corporations, which is worse than being held by a government.
You mean like Tesla having a shitload of Bitcoin?
I'm thinking like Gemini, for instance, is a perfect example, which is what that guy talks about, right? And in Meet Kevin in his video, which is the way that crypto is currently going. So
But do you
we
do
yeah,
these places, the Gemini, the Binance, they're all just different versions of a marketplace. They're not. They're holding coin of its customers,
yeah.
and they
But
the
it's
only
not like
thing.
the X where it's bound by the government.
No, because and this is a big thing that people don't realize, you can take your money out onto a digital wallet. You don't have to hold it inside those corporations. A lot of
True.
people are looking at it as a standard uh, investment portfolio where you go on your app or your website and your money sits there and it's backed by the government and you own shares in the real company. You actually get digital coins that you buy, and yes, the value could change over time, but you now own those coins and you can take them somewhere else and do something else with them. It's not the same as I don't believe it's the same as investing. And even Jason here
Yep.
says crypto sounds great on paper, though until you get the cash to build the cash.
Yeah, he's right in saying that. So essentially, like when you had the ETF of gold, for instance, which that started with like a couple of $100 million of dollars, right? Now it's
Yeah.
like billions and billions. Obviously, there's a lot more security and safety in that now. Um, but okay, so if everybody has a wallet, this is the problem, right? If everybody has a digital wallet, so their money is safe, their money is under some sort of a decentralized uh, internet account, right? How do you get money to be provided to for new businesses to start? Where does that money come from?
I don't ever think that crypto will replace the classic banking system, but I expect this scenario to happen. Hi,
Okay.
Mr. Bank. I'd like a loan to start a business. Sure. Okay. What's your plan? This is my plan. Oh, are you accepting Bitcoin as payment? Because that's a big risk if you don't. That is literally what I expect to happen. And the banks will have a Bitcoin wallet for you, and they're gonna back it. And I bet you, fucking, I got $50 in my wallet. I bet you $50 that banks right now are some of the companies that have been driving the prices of coins, crypto coins up. They've been buying the most stablest of coins, which is a crypto coin. Because, like I said, you zoom out 10 years, it's a 45-degree line all the way up. They've been the ones buying it. They're gonna be.
I wouldn't be
They're gonna be
surprised.
holding
You
it.
know, yeah, you're probably right that there is a certain percentage where they have been in stealth mode, where they've been purchasing it in small doses, so it's not that obvious. But I'm sure, yeah, to some extent they have a very small percent, but they have some sort of investment in
Yeah.
it.
Just on that comment, Jason said you need $10,000 to start because it is based on hardware you run. So that's the mining operation.
Yeah.
Should we go through the mining operation? Because I think that's really important to a lot of these cryptocurrency discussions. So
Yeah.
Bitcoin
Okay.
is mined. By mining, you get a graphics card which works out algorithms and cracks them and gets an answer, and you get a coin. And that coin is split amongst whoever is in the pool working out on this algorithm. The other aspect of it is your graphics card or whatever you're doing at the moment is also doing the transactions. So that's the decentralized part. Your transaction goes through the ledger, that's
Yes, the ledger.
yeah,
The public blockchain ledger.
that's right. And the blockchain itself is using these cards to put you on the ledger, tag the transaction, and keep going, right? So it's both mining and that. So once all the Bitcoin is mined, you only have the ledger to deal with, which should reduce the load. It should reduce the environmental impact of all the graphics card running. It should actually reduce the cost of graphics cards in general, which is great. But you can also obviously buy coin by trading your fiat currency for the current price that somebody else is willing to sell you that coin for. And I guess the big part of it is, yes, you can invest in your cryptocurrency mining rig, or you can buy the coin and you can ride the wave. So to be a part of this crypto, it's actually, it's multiple ways. Like Brave is used, the way you mine it is by using your browser. Technically, it's generating coin, but it's arbitrary. There's no physical generation. It's just the users watching things generates that coin. And the more people have it, the more it is, but also the value of it goes down if more people sell it, right? For example, Library. Library is as a coin, LBRY, that is specific to a site called Odyssey. Odyssey is a YouTube-like competitor with no censorship, and it allows you to upload your videos. Now, every time somebody watches your videos, you get some library coin, right? Now, here's the rub. For you to be shown at the top of the results when somebody searches for a keyword, you have to stake your library coins into the site. So for you to be always shown at the top results, you have to keep your coins inside your wallet in Odyssey. Because if you take them out, you don't get a stake in, and you won't be shown at the top of the results.
Mm-hmm.
So the value of it goes up as more people hold to be shown at the top of the results to get more coin. So the ones who have more coin get shown at the top, and hence they keep holding their coin, and so the value of the coin goes up and up and up and up. And then obviously somebody sells at some point, but
Yeah.
they average out, as they say. And then there's a lot of coins that do different things, but every one of them is used for something specific. I don't know where I was going with that, actually. No, I've forgotten where.
Oh yeah, I guess you were talking us through the mining process,
right?
To get an understanding of how that works.
So, Ethereum is another one that's computational. So they sell Ethereum to organizations like universities, where they can use the combined GPU power to work out problems, solve problems. Do you remember a little while back you could turn your PlayStation 3 into it was called folding at home?
What's that?
Do you remember that, folding at home?
No.
So a couple of years ago, there was this thing called PlayStation 3. Oh, they've closed it now. 100 million hours. Okay. Yeah, I'll just share my screen. So,
Yeah.
Folding Home is a distributed computing project aimed to help scientists develop new therapeutics for a variety of diseases by the means of simulating protein dynamics. This includes the process of protein folding and the movements of proteins, and its reliant simulation run on volunteers' personal computers. Folding at Home is currently based in Washington University, blah, blah, blah. The project utilizes central processing units, graphics cards, PlayStation 3's message passing interface, computing on multi-core processors, and some Sony Xperia smartphones for distributing the computing and scientific research. There was an icon on your PlayStation 3 menu that would turn your device into a little folding at home, a little mining unit. This was back in, that was a long time ago. When did the PlayStation 3 get released?
2006.
So in 2006 or so, or maybe a little bit later, no, 2007 to 2012, we were using PlayStation 3s to basically mine coin. And the cryptocurrency was, well, you didn't get any, but the value was your computing power to work out an algorithm.
Wow.
I think that's cool. And I see that as maybe another, I don't know, I think Ethereum is probably close to this, where it's like a computing power that's used to work something else out for the benefit of it.
It still boggles me, the whole philosophy, the whole science behind the world attempting to integrate into cryptocurrency, right?
Mm.
There's just there's this ever-growing concern, right? That there's just this big growing bubble. Because the question is, what's more likely to happen, right? Your country's economic collapse. So let's say the Australian dollar is worth, you know, 10 cents euro,
Yeah.
or Bitcoin being worth 7,000 as opposed to 70,000 it is now. And I think the answer is pretty obvious, that Bitcoin dropping to 7,000. So losing 90% of its value, right? That's the big fear with investors right now. And until we get to a point where perhaps the coin or the coins or the dominant coins stabilize, then it will make sense to actually operate the world in transactions and purchase and all of that, right? Because think of it this way, like if you were to implement Bitcoin prices on products today, it would be a little bit wild, right? Because you go into IKEA and you're like, oh, this bed looks great. It's it's half a Bitcoin or something, right? Let's say, I don't know.
Fuck, that's
Let's say
expensive
Bitcoin's,
bed.
yeah, I know. Let's say Bitcoin's really cheap. All right, it's like let's say it's like $2,000 a Bitcoin, and the bed's half a Bitcoin. And you're like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm keen on that. I'll come have a look with my wife tomorrow, and I'll come purchase the bed. Overnight, Bitcoin spikes by 50%. All of a sudden, that bed is 50% more expensive because of how irregular, how drastic, how crazy the Bitcoin is right now in its fluctuation.
I,
Whereas,
I get what you're saying, but there's an
yeah,
inherent cost to manufacturing that bed.
that bed.
So if the manufacturing of that
Yeah,
bed costs you 1,000, sorry, 1 Bitcoin, let's just keep it really simple, 1 Bitcoin,
sure, yeah, one
and the
Bitcoin, yeah.
value of that Bitcoin goes up, why are we comparing it against a fiat currency, right? It'll still be 1 Bitcoin in the Bitcoin world. So the only reason that we're comparing it is because we use fiat currency. So let's put it that way. If the fiat currency of building that bed is still $1,000 and you want to sell it at a 200% margin, so let's say $2,000, so 100%, right? So $3,000 for 200%. Then you would charge the amount of dollars you have in that Bitcoin if you want somebody to pay with Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. But that's in a world where Bitcoin is the only currency, or Bitcoin is no, sorry. Bitcoin is like the currency you earn your money in, and it's the currency that you compare every other place in the world to, right? But because our income is in Australian dollars, And if it fluctuates like rapidly and we're converting our Australian dollars to Bitcoin and then the prices of Bitcoin are jumping up and down, then it's not a useful tool to buy and sell products
I
because
don't
of
know if I
how
can
wild
agree
it
with
is.
that. I think it's a very useful. I think it's great. I can go right now online and buy something for Bitcoin.
Okay, so look at it this way, right? You trade your thousand, you earned $1,000 this week. You go trade it to Bitcoin. You get 1 Bitcoin, right? Um, you you go to buy something. I don't know. You go to buy the bed, right? And all of a sudden, it's instead of like $1,000, it's I don't know. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to think in the way that like you're losing money essentially on our product or you're getting ripped off, right? So you go to buy the bed, it's $1,500, whereas if you were to use your Australian money, you'd pay $1,000. So now you've just lost money. You
But
paid more for this
yeah, but hang
product,
on.
whereas your neighbor bought a cheaper bed than you did.
Yeah, but that's like, I guess people are still seeing crypto as a bit of a bit of an investment stock.
Because it currently is.
But it isn't, because if I go to New Zealand and I buy the same bed for New Zealand dollars,
Yeah.
I might end up paying more or less if
Yeah.
I'm using my Australian dollars.
Absolutely. But
So if
look
I'm going
how
to do, because Bitcoin
yeah, yeah.
could be accepted everywhere,
Yeah.
you're actually going to end up potentially being able to pay with Bitcoin, but you're still going to be paying the inherent value that that company requires for its books for that product at that time. So the only thing I could imagine is that I paid 1 Bitcoin for this bed, but next week that 1 Bitcoin is now worth 10 times. But again, at that time it wasn't. So that company got their Bitcoins and they traded in for their $1,000 or whatever it was, and they're happy. But I'm probably happy if it goes up. And if it goes down, I would be like, yeah, hell yeah, I was stoked. I just paid 1 Bitcoin, but now it's worth like $10. But the company accepted my Bitcoin. That again doesn't matter, because if I was from Tunisia and I landed in Australia with my Tunisian money and I was able to buy a bed with my Tunisian money, but then next there was a coup in my government and now the money is worthless. Well, hell, I've already sold my coin for Australian product or money and done and dusted. I guess
Well,
what
it's
I'm
just
getting at is not it's just
yeah.
it doesn't matter. It honestly does not matter.
It does, unless you're getting paid in Bitcoin, right? Because the disparity is so huge. Let's say 2 years ago the bed was 1 Bitcoin, right? And
But what
you can't even afford a Bitcoin now, so therefore you can't buy the bed.
but the bed wouldn't be 1 Bitcoin anymore. It'd be still the same value of how much the company wants to charge for it. So they'll look at it and go, well, now it's 70,000. The bed's only 1,000, so we're going to go 0.00001 Bitcoin.
Well, yeah, that's what they need to do, right?
Yeah.
Because it fluctuates so much, they need to change their prices on the daily, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, but if you're on, like, when you're shopping online, it's not a
Yeah.
static ticket, like a printed ticket, right?
It fairly is. Like if you go, I don't know, if you look at like a TV price or something, right? You look
Yeah.
at a TV a year ago that was released, and then today, it may have, become cheaper by like 50% or something because of the product aging, right?
Right.
But it's not like the TV is like $10,000 more all of a sudden next year, even though it depreciated in value, it's now more expensive.
I
You see,
think
it's like,
I think you're missing a vital point, that none of this actually matters, because it's just a transfer of value. So if the so on a website, like let's say I go to the Good Guys and I buy a TV either with Bitcoin or cash, it's just going to be the equivalent of Bitcoin at the time of purchase of the cash that they're wanting to for it. So if it's $1,000,
yeah.
if I give them $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, not 1,000 Bitcoins or 1 Bitcoin or whatever it is, just that much worth. At that time, the transfer is equalized. And if the Bitcoin crashes the next day, well, that's their loss and that's the risk they take. But if it goes up, they've made more money from the
Yeah, and
sale of
this
that
is like,
product.
yeah, why deal with a currency that is unstable? That's essentially where I'm heading to.
But it's only
Because
unstable now. It's only going to be unstable for it's only
yeah, and
unstable
this is
for.
yeah, this it is unstable now, which is the problem now, I guess. But if we could get to a phase where it moves like the Australian dollar, like 1% up, 1% down, then obviously we've reached that stability per se.
I think we'll reach that with Bitcoin, and you'll still see those.
I hope so.
I think I think we looked at this ages ago. Imagine investing $1,000 in the inception of the ASX.
Yep, like 100 years ago. Yep.
Yep. Imagine doing that. That's where we're at now with crypto. Yes, it's going to have gigantic fluctuations. It's going to be worse than an emotional roller coaster with your wife's boyfriend's, I don't know, living with you. I don't know. It's going to be massive. It's going to be these
Yeah.
crazy fluctuations. But if you, like I said, if you zoom out, the bloody thing's going up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, this is what's so scary because, if you invested $1,000 of the inception of the Bitcoin, which was 10 years ago, you'd basically purchase Australia today. That's the difference. It's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right, that's right. And look, it's what's the value behind it, right?
Yeah.
What is it inherently based? So like New Zealand dollar or an Australian dollar, it's backed by the country's economy, it's backed by its financial system, it's backed by the people not losing their jobs, it's backed by a lot of things, industry. Australia is backed by the mining. We
Yep.
survived the last recession because of mining and the Labor government getting us through it. We were one of the only
Yep.
countries that survived it. And Kevin Rudd's I guess playbook on how to survive is being used right now to survive the pandemic by certain countries. So
Oh, I love it. Good.
it's
Hmm.
we're backed by that. We're always backed by something. What is Bitcoin backed by? Like, yeah, playing the devil's advocate. Like tomorrow, what is it worth? Like why is it worth the amount that it's worth? The value is
That's the
inherently
thing.
people. It's
Yeah.
people and utility. Right now, Bitcoin is a digital currency that has no centralization. It can be
Mm.
passed on to people without being monitored, technically speaking, as long as you don't turn it back into
Yeah.
fiat currency. The value of it is anonymity. And I can store a Bitcoin inside a wallet and then give it to you, Casper. I can give you a $10,000 gift without paying tax on it. The
That's a
value,
problem.
but no, but yes, it's a problem. But the value
Yeah.
is that you don't have to trade it back into fiat because the next person will also see that value, that they can hold this amount of potential, because it's always potential value. They can hold it inside their wallet and trade it again to somebody else. So question to you then is, because I know your mind peaked, taxation. The only time we tax it
Yes.
is when we turn it into fiat currency. And I think that's fair, because that's when you'll actually use it somewhere else for something more than like 20. I don't think we'll have full on usage of the coins. I think we'll get like 20% acceptance across the board. You'll be able to buy stuff online, certain companies, big build stores. Amazon will probably start accepting Apple. But I think if you want to go down to your corner store, you want to do a house deposit, you're gonna end up doing normal money. So you're gonna get it taxed. So as soon as you take it out through a CoinSpot or Coinbase back into like Australian dollars, you're gonna get slapped with tax. And I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that, because if I want to get it to that coin, it costs me. Think of tax as the gas you pay for when you transfer BTC.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, we need tax. Like we need tax on Bitcoin. Otherwise, well, we don't want to have the collapse of the government. As much as we don't like the government sometimes, you know,
Yeah,
we need some sort of order. We need a system in place, right?
sure.
Because, I mean, look at countries where you don't have a government that is stable.
They just need
It's
some
it's
Bitcoin, man. They'll be stable as hell.
it's chaos. It's absolute chaos. It's chaos. It's poverty. It's more disparity between the rich and the poor as
Yes.
well. As much as we'd like to think it's not, it is. Um, there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of gang warfare and all of that. So, Just to Pog's comment about the US dollar unstable as they just printed another $3 trillion. But what we got to take into consideration that they only have about like 5% of actual physical money there. So printing that 3 trillion is like a drop of blood in the ocean. It's not going to be, it's not going to have huge consequences. If anything, it's going to protect them from a time when people are trying to withdraw money during panic, which then, even then, the banks are going to hold it anyway because they want to prevent the economic collapse. So it's just these systems in play that need to be actually implemented alongside corporations if they want to play Bitcoin investment, essentially.
Yeah, right. What I was just clearing out some tabs here. I do have a question, Casper. You bought I
Yeah,
know this is off topic from Bitcoin. You bought a
sure.
3070. Do you
Yeah.
regret buying that now because there's a 3070 Ti coming out?
I thought about it for a little bit. I don't know. Will I actually utilize that extra 8 GB? I don't
Or
know
the
because maybe in 2 to 4 years' time I'll upgrade anyway, so it might not be a huge deal, a huge loss.
Do you care that it's split into an 8 and a 16?
No,
No.
I'm not too bothered. I think I'm not too bothered. I think the way that technology accelerating as well, you know, it's my 3070 would look pretty horrible by the time next year comes along anyway. Maybe Nvidia releases new GPU and says, "Hey, these are 100% times faster."
So
You know,
would you ever consider utilizing your GPUs to mine some Bitcoin?
I thought about it. Because I mean, you're doing that, right? Is that something you're still engaging in?
I stopped because it blew my pump.
Yeah, okay. Maybe that would be a concern. Like if it
No,
blows up my
just
GPU,
don't use water as a
water
cool.
cooling.
Yeah, water cooling when you're
Yeah,
mining. I think that's like number one rule. And well, I did what I did. No regrets.
no regrets. Yeah. Wow.
All right, I
Cool
think it's
bananas.
time
Yeah.
to end the show. Friends, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed today's yarn. It seems that what we're doing is we're going through a bunch of topics and then getting stuck on one. I don't mind at all. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you for watching. Where can we find you, Casperino?
Oh, you can find me at Game with Casper, and yeah, be wary of the crypto. I mean, hey, it could be a very nice future, but also please don't lose all your money at the same time.
Oh, yes, invest only what you can afford to lose because at the end of the day, it is
Yeah.
just gambling. That's what it is right now. But the technology behind it and the use cases are far-reaching and incredibly exciting. So,
Yeah.
um, let us know if Sunday is a better day for a bit of a stream. But I think I prefer Fridays. It's good to go get everything out. You know,
I like Fridays as well. It's that wind down to the working week.
yeah,
And you get to chat about things that came up throughout the week and we can still remember them fairly well.
that's right. That's right. Catch you all in another one. Thank you very much for watching. And bye.
See ya.